Hello.
Hey, George, how are you?
Yeah, good, James. Yourself?
Oh, I'm good over here. Actually, I think I'm experiencing some of your typical weather that I normally see when I'm in the UK. We got a little overcast, we got a little rain. What's yours today?
Yeah, no, we haven't had too bad a day today. It was overcast. It was a nice little breeze. So I shot a few pigeons today, which was nice.
Okay, good. Now tell us about New Zealand, because you've now reached your 18th World Championship. And, we saw some pictures of you down there in New Zealand, and we'll probably run some of those as we're speaking. But tell us about that venue down there.
It was held at Pyro, which is just basically in the Thames Basin in the North Island. It's about an hour and a half south of Auckland. Fantastic venue run by the Thames Valley Deerstalkers Association and obviously the New Zealand Federation. It was their turn to host the shoot this year. And the targets were, very, very tough, but it was a very, very enjoyable shoot to attend. It was tough for me because we finished the pheasant shooting season here on the Tuesday, and literally I finished the last drive and started travelling, and I didn't arrive there until Thursday night at 6 o'clock in the evening after a 38-hour journey. And then when the competition started at 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning, so I didn't have a lot of time to acclimatise, and I certainly didn't have time to get jet lag. So it's all sort of starting to come out in me now at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I went to your Facebook page, George, and for those of you who don't know this, George Digweed does have a Facebook page, and it's very up to date on what George is doing. But I went there, and I noticed that you had made a remark saying that the targets down there were very technical. Now, I realize what that is, and I know many viewers do, but we have a lot of new people coming into the sport. Maybe you could just tell me a little bit about what a technical target is?
Yeah, the definition of technical is, for me, when you look at a target and you think that's an easy target to break, but then when you actually start shooting at it, you keep missing it. And, basically the course designer has beaten you with angle and speed. They might have offset the trap slightly on the ground so that it's not throwing a completely straight target, hence you're missing it up the side. Due to the topography of the ground over there, it was, steep valleys. So some of it was, up above your feet, and the next shot was below your feet. So consequently, you had to move your body, move your feet, get your gun on the line of the target, for every shot. And it basically, it was a difficult shoot. I mean, it was relentless. There was 14 stands. If I had to put my life on it, on each layout, there was probably only one stand of each layout that I would have wanted to have gone and shot to shoot straight, if my life depended on it. So, there was 13 stands there that, you would have almost expected to miss at least one target on. So if you miss one target on 13 stands, you're looking at an 87. Once you start missing one or two more on them, then, you're back into the late 70s, early 80s and staring down the barrel a bit.
Yeah. Well, George, I'm looking over some of the scores here, and it appears as though maybe the top 10, except for Damien Bergen, and I'm sorry, I don't know Damien. He's probably the only Australian in there. But the top 10 shooters here were from the UK.
Yeah, there's. I think John Younger came in on at sixth place in the final six shoot-off. Damien Bergen won the World FITAS Championships in Australia last year, so he's the mug. John Younger's been second a few years ago when it was held in the Southern Hemisphere. I mean, the guys in the final were some serious shooters. But, what you've got to remember is that over here, it's not just about, the likes of George Digweed, Ben Huswaite, Richard Folds, those sort of people. There are 50 people in the UK that are capable of shooting those sort of scores. And, it's interesting to see those sort of people out of their own environment, in the UK, competing in a world championship in New Zealand. You say there was, 4 out of the top 6 were UK-based shooters, and if you look at the top 10, you're probably, going down, a few more in that. But you can only beat the people that are there. So, if you can't be bothered to get off your arse and go to New Zealand and compete, then you can only beat the field that's there. And it's been said once or twice, and there's 1 or 2 forums that are, saying, oh, there wasn't so many people there to make it an event and everything like that. Well, they've known about it for 12 months, and if they can't be bothered to go down and compete in it, they can't turn around and say, oh, there was no one there, if they're not prepared to go and compete in it themselves. And if they thought that there was nobody there, then why didn't they get down there and win it fairly easily?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I do have a few emails here from American shooters, because there was absolutely none there at that shoot, correct?
Exactly right. And yet, it's exactly the same event that everybody travelled to last year in the UK when there was 800 entries. So, what difference 6 months makes, I'm not really sure. But anyway, that's everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and it's very, very easy to make an opinion when you sat on your sofa at home. To actually make an opinion, you really should get on an aeroplane and go and do the hard yards. And once you've done the hard yards, then you can have a voice. But when you're sitting at home giving a voice on something that, really and truly is open to everybody, then, we'll sit up and listen. But until you do that, then I'm not really bothered.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the organization, not in New Zealand, but the organization who actually put on the championship.
Well, there's an international target shooting federation now, which is, the CPSA. You've got Ireland. I don't know the exact amount of countries in it, but it's considerable. I mean, Sweden's in it, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. So you've got a complete broad section. I've got a feeling that the NSSCA has not gone into it, or the NSCA hasn't gone into it. Now, why they've chosen to go down that route, I'm not sure. But I know that it's open to American competitors, and if they wanted to come and shoot, then they would have been more than welcome. But why they've chosen to go down that route, I have no idea. But English sporting is a discipline that they're trying to take to an international level, not just compete between England and America. And if you're going to take that to an international level, whatever sport you're in and whoever you're dealing with, you've got to be global. Now, global means global. It doesn't mean 1 year you're going to shoot in England, and the next year you're going to shoot in America, and the next year you're going to come back to England, and then you're going to go back to America. That's not global. And global, we're trying to embrace the sport of shooting, which, you've got a massive following of people over there now. English sporting is a very, very popular discipline, far more popular than parcours de chasse, which is FITAS. And to take that global, it involves you as a nation participating in different countries in the world, as well as us coming to participate with you. And you meet so many new friends, you see so many new cultures. I'm very privileged in the fact that I've been able to travel the world doing it, and I don't take that feat lightly. And long may it continue that I'm able to go and compete and meet new friends and see different things. And that's why I enjoyed New Zealand as well, in the fact that it was a very technical shoot. But if you want to shoot the same targets as you shoot at home, stay at home. If you want to try and further your ability and further, your ability to be able to read targets and and shoot in different environments, then go and shoot other shoots. But if you don't want to get any better than you are, then stay where you are.
Yeah. Well, let me just pose this question to you, and I'm not making an opinion one way or another. I'm just reading someone else's opinion, and they are saying to me that there are too many championships that take place throughout the year, and that they can't make all of them.
You can't. I fully agree with you, and there are too many championships, and everybody that wants to put on a big shoot puts on this big title shoot, etc., etc., etc. There are too many big shoots in the UK, you know, and in the end they become watered down so much so that you know, you can look at a list of each month there'll be a major championship on somewhere that you can go to, but it comes down to the fact that a governing body is a governing body. Now, in FITAS sporting, the governing body is FITAS, which is parcours, you know, the parcours de chasse discipline, FITAS sporting, and for us in the UK, the CPSA, the governing body is the Clay Pigeon Shooting Association. Now, if the Clay Pigeon Shooting Association is a member of the International Clay Target Shooting Association, then the International Clay Target Shooting Association's championship is the championship you would attend, and that is the championship, you know, that counts. You can call these other shoots, you know, whatever you want. I mean, I've come over to you, and we had the World All-Round Championship 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however long it was, for 2 years on the trot. It was classed as the World All-Round Championship, which was to find the best all-round shooter in the world. And I was very lucky in that the 2 years that I came over that the event took place, I won it both years. But I don't count that championship. All right, I put it on my CV because it was a tremendous shoot, and the camaraderie of the shoot and the actual shoot was probably one of the best shoots I've ever been to. Purely and simply for the enjoyment value of you shoot every discipline. I met new people. You know, it was a great ambiance of the event. But when I count my 18 World Championships, they are official World Championships ratified by an international organisation. They are not championships that have just been, you know, made up as the World Championship from, you know, the Sussex County Clay Shooting Club.
Yeah,
they are official World Championships ratified by an official organisation. Now, you can go to all the big shoots you want, and there are too many big shoots and everything else, but at the end of the day, the only shoots that are going to count in the next 25, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years when they look back are going to be the shoots that have been officially ratified and count in the register.